When we use the words grounding techniques, we are talking about a particular way of coping or managing difficult and stressful situations. These situations could range from mild anxiety to complex trauma. Sometimes when people are dealing with very difficult emotions, they can disassociate and feel like they're not really here, or they might experience flashbacks to a time which was particularly distressing or traumatic. Learning about grounding techniques has helped me massively with my own anxiety and my own CPTSD. So I am going to talk to you today about some of the techniques which I have found really help, and hopefully you can benefit from too. One that we've probably all heard of is the 5 senses. It's very popular because it genuinely does work. So the idea with this is that you sit comfortably and you find 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things which you can smell, which hopefully are pleasant, and 1 thing that you can taste. All the recommendations say that you say these things out loud. That really gets you into this kind of mindfulness about what's around you, and it brings you back into the present moment. This can be very beneficial if we're ruminating on things that have happened in the past and experiencing flashbacks, but it can also be very good if we are finding ourselves getting very anxious about something that is going to happen in the coming days or hours. Sometimes sitting calmly and comfortably can be very difficult though. In times like this, I've learned a very good technique is to learn a mantra and say it to yourself. It can be really simple. Simpler the better. A good one I have found is just the words, I am safe. So what I do is I take a deep breath in, and then on my exhale, I say to myself, I am safe. So breathe in, I am safe. What this does is 2 things. First of all, it calms down your nervous system because you are focusing on your breath. You're getting the oxygen in, you're getting it where it needs to go, and that will immediately take you out of fight or flight mode. Secondly, it reaffirms a sort of positive affirmation. You are safe, and especially when dealing with flashbacks, it's a very good thing to remind ourselves of. Another thing that can be really useful for times when we're experiencing distress is to have prepared a self-care box. Now, your self-care box can have absolutely anything in it. Anything that makes you feel comfortable and safe and secure. I've got my own self-care box here, so I'm just going to talk you through some of the things that are in here and maybe give you some ideas for your own. So first off, I have 2 crystals. Now these are very different. This one, as you can see, has lots of ridges. It's very beautiful. Some edges are smooth, some are more rough. And this one is black and smooth and very calming to touch. The great thing about things we find in nature, rocks, crystals, seashells, things like that, they stay cool. So sometimes when we are feeling very anxious, our heart's racing, our palms get quite sweaty. So having something nice and cool to hold on to with its different textures, different surfaces, things like that is really good. Something else, which again is about the senses, something nice to smell is a good thing to have in your self-care box. It could be the scent of somebody's perfume or aftershave that you feel really safe with and that you trust. This little bottle came from one of my closest friends, and it just reminds me of her. It's I think it's lavender and like cedarwood and things like that, which is very calming. So a little sniff of that, and I feel a little bit calmer. Staying on the subject of scent, I've got a candle in my box. I actually have another candle next to my bed, which is quite highly scented, and I know that when I smell that scent, it's time to go to sleep. You know, my brain instantly goes, oh, it's relaxing time now. So something like this is really good. I mean, candlelight's very calming anyway, and a familiar scent, and a scent that you associate with calm and peace and safety. It's very good. One thing that I believe every self-care box should have is some chocolate. It could be any snack, anything that you really enjoy eating. Some chocolate, maybe a favourite bag of crisps or some nuts, or maybe some calming tea as well in your box. Something that you can really treat yourself with. A notebook and pen is always very good. You don't want to be rummaging around for a pen. Sometimes it really helps if we've got a lot of thoughts in our mind and we're ruminating about something, to jot these thoughts down onto paper. You can keep them in your notebook. Or one thing that's very cathartic is to rip it out, rip it up, and get rid of it. I've done that a few times. Something else that's very good to have is a favourite book. I would recommend something that's not too heavy, not too hard going, something that maybe you know and is very familiar, or something with very short chapters that you can dip in and out of and that brings you comfort. And finally, an adult colouring book. I was a little bit sceptical about colouring in the first time, but actually it's really, really calming. Just an adult colouring book, some pencils, some coloured pencils, and maybe a nice playlist on Spotify or something that has got all your favourite songs on. Get your headphones on, do some colouring. It's really calming. So those are the grounding techniques that I have found which can really help. I hope some of them are beneficial to you, and yeah, that's it. Take care of yourselves. Thank you. Bye bye.